Okay, last thing. Khabib Conor, who wins?
It's going to be a tough fight for both people. There's a lot of pressure for one guy, and then Khabib's supposed to win because a guy like Conor's new. It takes a long time to develop a formula to deal with somebody like George St. Pierre or Khabib. Yeah, there's a certain formula you have to use. You can't just lay on your back. You gotta turn over. You gotta know how to deal with,
In my opinion, I think if you put Conor and Khabib in a grappling match, I think a lot of people would be surprised. I think Conor could beat him in a grappling match. I'm talking about like an ADCC match or IBJF. Conor pulls guard. Khabib's not going to do anything to him. So I think a lot of people are going to be surprised. Conor's a very good grappler. He has an amazing coach, John Kavanaugh, since he started. So I think a lot of people are going to be surprised. Conor's no slouch on the ground and no slouch in wrestling. I roll with a lot of people in my life, like probably anybody you could think of.
Throwing fists. So I think he'll be back this year to fight Khabib.
Who do you think would win that?
I don't know, man. It's hard to be confident, and he's the most confident guy on planet Earth. So I don't know. I don't know how he would stop Khabib from taking him down and eventually getting him to where he wants to fight. I would probably see Khabib winning, but his left hand is phenomenal, and you cannot take anything away from that thing.
He needs to get some wrestling done. If Nate Diaz can take it down and choke him out, I'm damn sure fucking Khabib Nurmagomedov can. But Khabib can. There's a very, very clear path to victory for both of them. I don't even need to explain what they are because everybody knows. Conor can knock him out. Khabib can take him down and smash him. Who's going to be successful? I guess we'll have to wait and see.
When you look at all of Conor's losses, they came from on the ground.
Yeah, that's right.
And he said on court. And I'm not hating on the guy.
Sure.
People think I hate Conor because I just say what I see. Every time it was Nate Diaz, Joe Duffy, and I think some other dude. I don't know who else. I think he got lost 3 times, right?
He's 18-3, I think.
But they're all 3 were by submission.
Am I wrong?
Connor's 21-3. He has a submission loss to Nate Diaz, Joe Duffy, and Artemis Satenko.
Okay.
Satenko, everybody.
About Khabib and Conor.
Yeah, I think Conor would get him. I think Khabib runs it recklessly, and I think Conor will put one on his chin and put him out cold.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah. I really think that, honestly.
This is one of those fights that I believe if Khabib runs at Conor the way he does a lot of these other guys to get the takedown, he's in big trouble. And I think that if Conor gets underneath Khabib, he's in big trouble.
Yeah, I think that's a very tough matchup for Conor. I mean, I respect. He has to take it to fight back for the title, but I really respect him for taking this as his first fight back in 2 years.
Yeah, I think it's funny to say this because, of how popular he is and what a huge star he is, but I think Conor McGregor is one of the most underrated fighters in the UFC. Every time Conor McGregor comes out to fight somebody new, and it's a wrestler or it's whatever, everybody, this is the fight that Conor's going to lose. He said that he would knock out Jose Aldo the way he did it and as fast. He said he would do it in the first round. And if you look at Jose Aldo's career, what a stud that guy is, what he's accomplished, and again, people were counting him out again. He took all of those huge shots, that night from Jeremy Stevens, right? Takes and then finishes him with a body shot in the first round.
Incredible.
A lot of people picked him to lose against Eddie Alvarez because of Eddie Alvarez's style in wrestling.
That's right.
And you look how he looked there. When Chad Mendes, leading up to the fight when he ended up fighting Chad Mendes, Chad Mendes was a wrestler. Everybody believed that he would do that. Then after he won, everybody said, well, Chad Mendes didn't have enough time to train for it. And the list goes on and on. I think because Conor is so popular and his personality and everything, I think he's completely underrated.
I always say the same thing. I think Conor lands on the chin and puts him to sleep. I'll always give his opponent the benefit of the doubt. Some people are tough and some people can take more shots than others, but it's only a matter of time. So I think if Conor lands in the first, early, it could be done in the first. But if he doesn't,
once he lands on the chin, you'll use a lot of tea in Khabib's face. Once he lands, it'll be lights out, either immediately or short. You know.
So you're expecting a first round finish?
I'm expecting a KO. Yeah, most definitely. Whether it's the first or the second, I don't know, but I would predict that he's gonna flatten.
Wow, before the third.
Yeah, I would think so. I definitely think Conor's gonna land, you know, quick enough. It's just, you know, how he deals with being here and how he copes, and you know, I just don't see. I've seen it many times before. Not many people can take a shot. Very, very few. I don't think Khabib can take them either. He can be hit, so I mean that's not a mystery. Like, I mean, you can see he's been hitting every one of his fights. That's not a good thing when you're going in to fight Conor McGregor, you know.
Sure.
Conor lands once and you're gonna fall asleep. But he poses some threats as well. His grappling is phenomenal. So, but you know, everybody has holes in their games. Everybody can be beaten, and we definitely think that we have the tools to go Khabib away.
October the 6th in the heart of fighting. No, that's not outside of provincial town centre Boozer, Las Vegas. And Dan, is it right in saying that this is the biggest fight of all time?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, you know, with the rise of the two fighters, obviously Khabib was quite simmering for about 15 fights until he kind of hit the UFC, and then he's become a massive star because he's so ferocious and so dominant. And then Conor McGregor is the biggest star we've ever had in the sport. And fortunately, they're both in the same weight class. They're very, very different in characters and in fighting styles as well. It's a great match. And it could go either way as well. That's what makes it so exciting.
I think Conor not being in the octagon for the best part of 12 months, and about best part of 2 years, not inside in a ring for the best part of 12 months since the Mayweather fight. It's just a whole different audience he's bringing to mixed martial arts now as well. You know, we've used the term previously with certain stars like Brock Lesnar and Ronda Rousey about transcending the octagon, but this guy is taking it to a whole new level. You know, I don't think there's anybody walking the streets of the UK now that aren't familiar with who Conor McGregor is, and all those eyeballs, he will drag them back to the octagon on October the 6th, and the sport really is ready to capitalise on that.
Because it's crazy.
I was surprised. Were you surprised, Nick, that they didn't allow himself a bit more time for a build-up, given the fact that this is going to be such a big fight?
100%. You know, this is the crazy thing. You know, the last couple of fights that Conor's had in the UFC, there's also been world tours involved. Don't forget, there was a world tour with the Jose Aldo fight. There was a world tour with the Mayweather boxing match. You know, this guy, he generates so many headlines that it made sense for this to maybe happen between Christmas and New Year and give ourselves 6 months of build-up. But they've decided to turn it round inside 60 days.
Because we talked about this on the podcast last week. We were looking at the dates. We knew it was going to be in Vegas. We looked at the 2 dates. There was one in October, which I'd heard might happen. But we all thought that, yes, it'll be, I think it was the 27th or the 28th or the 29th of December.
Yeah.
That would be great. But yeah, it's ballsy. It's ballsy from the UFC. And Dan, it's ballsy from Conor McGregor. 2 years out of the octagon, no tune-up fight, nothing like that. Going up against a guy that has been called by lots of people terrifying.
Well, he is terrifying, but, you know, Conor McGregor is supremely confident, which is a part of the reason why he wins a lot of his fights before they even start. We don't know what he's been doing in his time off. You've got to think the amount of money he's got sitting in his account at the moment. He can do what he wants with his time. And he is a student of martial arts. There's no doubt about it. So although, yeah, he's probably been enjoying his money, he's also probably been spending just as much time in the gym. So we don't know what he's been working on. We don't know how he's been improving. That's part of what makes it exciting for me, is because he is, to an extent, an unknown commodity coming into this.
Everybody I've spoken to in and around Conor McGregor has given me the same information back. Don't sleep on him. Don't think the fact that he's been out of the octagon for all this time is
They
a reason
would
to
say
think
that.
his standard has dropped. Apparently, he grinds just as hard as he's ever done. The money hasn't changed him in terms of his desire and his want to prove this legacy fight. That's what we were saying last week. You got 100 million in the bank when 5 years ago you were on the dole. You get to this point in life and you think, you know what, I've won at life, and all your goals would drop. But apparently that's not the case with Conor McGregor. He's got work to do. He still wants to prove himself to be the greatest mixed martial artist the sport's ever seen. And you know what? By fighting Khabib, just by taking the fight with Khabib inside 60 days, that is such a big statement to make. And a performance here, a win here, and suddenly Conor's back at the top of everybody's pound for pound list.
Well, he's still there. He's not fought for however long. He's still number 2 or 3 in the pound for pound. In fact, he went up, without fighting for 2 years. Dan, this is the point. So he's stepping back in, almost 2 years out. What's the longest layoff you had? And can you stay sharp if you've just been grinding in the gym?
Yeah, you can stay sharp. I mean, there's a certain amount of timing that you would lose, and you lose that over time depending on how much you have away. But I mean, the longest I took was probably 8 or 9 months off, and that was after my 4-fight losing streak, and I needed to do something different. So there was a different motive for me there. I was in the gym every day trying to make improvements in my game and turn things around. Whereas Conor, I mean, he's effectively at the top of his game still. So we don't know what he's been adding to his game. Obviously, his confidence is in a different place, which changes things again. You can lose timing, of course. You can get some timing back through sparring, but regular fighting. In my early career, I was fighting every couple of weeks, and there's no timing like it. You feel so comfortable in there. So there is going to be a bit of adjustment, but then yeah, that's why he's got the X factor. Conor McGregor, he has the confidence that carries him through fights where people would normally fall apart.